The Dragon Masters by Jack Vance. So this is episode 48 of a series I'm doing called The Masterpieces of Science Fiction, and it's 140 books that I'm reading through that Easton Press put together, and I'm at episode 48, so I've read 48 books. Now, this book was published in 1962, and it won a Hugo for Best Short Story, but it was published later, I think, as an ace double, originally in magazines, then an ace double, and then it got its own standalone publication. I don't know if Vance added to the story. I think it's still in the novella range, because even though this copy I have is like 230 pages, it was one of the shortest books I've read in the series so far. And you can see the words on the page. It's like they purposely kind of fluffed it to make it look like a real book. But I feel like if you're even an average reader, you could sit down and read this book in one day, no problem. And it was a lot of fun. It was a great book. I haven't really read anything from Jack Vance besides short stories, so this is kind of my first longer work of his. I definitely want to read the Dying Earth books at some point. But this book was on the list, and so I thought I'd just go ahead and give it a go. And it was great, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So Jack Vance sets up the story. We're in a distant planet, unknown time, unknown location. The planet is very unique and interesting and fun with the physics of its star and itself, and he does a really good job explaining all of that, and it's really straightforward. And on this planet we have some humans, and there's kind of like certain areas that are more habitable on this planet. So our humans have kind of, coalesced into this area, and they've slightly been at war with each other on and off, and our main character, his name is Joaz, and he's kind of been battling with another kind of faction of humanity, and while they're still sort of friends, they kind of are always at it with each other, and they will go to war, kill one another. It's kind of like that. And we find out that this planet, with its physics and everything, there is another planet that comes by occasionally in its cycle, and as it's on like this long elliptic orbit, and when it nears the planet where this book takes place, some of the inhabitants of that planet come and usually invade this home planet that we're on, that Joaz lives on. And so when they invade this planet, they kind of set them back, and they've kind of been at this, it's further than Stone Age. They have gunpowder, they have metal, but they don't have a lot of really good technology. And every time these aliens come, they kind of knock them back a bit. But a while before, Joaz's one of his relatives, when one of these alien crafts came to the planet to try to abduct some humans and set them back, this ancestor of Joaz was really smart, and he outsmarted him and ended up capturing some of the aliens. And throughout the years, these humans have bred these aliens into what we would kind of consider dragons. And there's like different types of dragons. And once again, Vance does a really good job explaining all these different creatures. And so they use these creatures to battle one another. They use them for work, I believe. It's just kind of, part of their culture now, these dragons. And they're, hence the name, kind of the Dragon Masters, as these humans have kind of, taken them on. So our main character, Joaz, he starts to think that this planet is approaching again, and he's trying to get this other faction to like put down their quibbles for a little while and just focus on this threat that's coming from these aliens. And this other guy, he wants nothing to do with it. He still is actually like trying to fight a battle in a war against Joaz, even though Joaz is frantically trying to prepare for this next alien invasion. Now, there's also another branch of humanity on this planet, and they're kind of like priest, monk type humans. They don't wear any clothing. They don't have any possessions. They kind of roam around. They're, you know, supposedly maybe enlightened or something like this, but they're very mysterious. And Joaz has some interactions with them every once in a while, and he actually talks to one of them to try to get their aid as well to help in this alien invasion that's coming. So that's the setup of the book. I do want to say one more thing. So the aliens, and this, you know, this is a really short book. Stop the video now if you don't want like zero spoilers. I don't really think this is much in the way of spoilers, but I'm going to kind of warn you anyways. So these aliens do end up coming back to this planet. And what's interesting is as they have captured humans throughout all the times they've visited this planet, they have bred these humans into kind of monsters as well. So you have it on both sides, and Vance really makes you think about, you know, the implications of this, and is it right for one group to do it because the other one did it? It gets into a lot of real interesting, thought-provoking themes, which I haven't really found in too many science fiction books, you know, so it was really good there. So the rest of the book, like I said, it's a short book. It resolves all of these plot lines. So we have Joaz and his kind of civil war with another human. We have these monk-like humans that are involved in this whole, you know, thing as well. And we have these aliens who are coming to try to abduct some more humans, you know, send them back a couple hundred years in their evolution and just keep them down at this level. So everything gets resolved. The ending was fairly good. I was pretty happy with it. But overall, I just really liked Vance's writing and the characters he wrote in here. There is some witty banter amongst them. It's not too, like, it doesn't get into the absurd range or anything too over the top. But he just has a way with dialogue and scenes. And it's, like I said, it's my first experience really getting into his work. And I really loved it, and I can't wait to read some more of his. So I would say if you have not read this book and you find a copy, you know, pick it up. Like I said, you could read this in a day, no problem. It's a lot of fun. I think if you already like Vance and you haven't read this, you probably will. And I don't know, I feel like it was a pretty good place to start with Vance, but maybe people who are watching this who have read more Vance could kind of weigh in and say if there's maybe a better place to start. But it was a thoroughly enjoyable book, a lot of fun. You know, it got into some deep themes. You can go down those rabbit holes as far as you want. You can read it just for the plot, the enjoyment, the characters. There's many levels to this story, and it's like a novella length book. So highly recommended. Or I would say recommended. I don't know if I would say highly recommended, but it was great. And next up, I'm reading The Long Tomorrow by Lee Brackett. I'm actually a little behind on videos, so I already finished this. Spoiler alert, I absolutely love the book. Just look for that video review coming out next. And once again, thanks for watching.